Hello, is there anybody out there? And can you hear me? Hello, Shawl 0508. Is that Nessa? Guess who? Well, can you hear me all right? Kind of got a new setup here. My stupid head in my head keeps popping in the frame. It's gonna be spooky. I'm texting my wife. I gotta try to remember not to slouch and lean forward because I don't want my head to keep popping in. And I gotta try to get this out of the way. Hold on, still doing some setup here. Got my trusty duct tape. All right, that's a little better. Give it a couple minutes while we're waiting to see if Diana joins. Tonight I'll be drinking Goose Island Bourbon County Stout coffee flavor. This is from 2022. I think the hype has died off for the Bourbon County Stout that they release every year on Black Friday. Last year, I think they made too much and not enough people bought it. So you can still find the special varieties at Binny's, and they're highly marked down from the original inflated prices. So I bought one of these bad boys the other day. Let's see, what is my wife messaging me? I have to try to send her a link. Oh, this is fun. Hey, what's up, Alex? Don Biggie-Tone. All right, I gotta try to send Diana a link. And I will be able to do that in a minute. As soon as I figure out how to do that. Share. There we go. Copy the link. There we go. Okay, so you guys get to see me crack open my beer using my trusty Gerber keychain multi-tool. So this beer was released almost a year ago, so hopefully it's still good. It's been sitting on a Binny's shelf in the light all day, every day for the last 300 some days. I think it's still good. All right, well, cheers. Here's to Halloween. Yeah, it's still pretty good. All right, move the beer in view. All right. Oh, there's my wife. My wife. Borat voice never gets old, and it's always funny. All right, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Happy almost Halloween. Welcome to a spooktacular version of, I don't know, Rob playing board games. Usually I'd be playing Gloomhaven, as you know. But for Halloween, I'm going to play a different game, something Halloween related. This is a game I bought last year for Halloween, but haven't really played much. This is Arkham Horror, the card game. So this is mainly card-based. As you can see on the table, there's some other components that'll come into play. But this is the core set. So this Arkham Horror card game is very popular among a lot of hardcore tabletop gaming people. It's what's called a living card game. It's a little different than like a traditional collectible card game like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or something like that. Whereas instead of having to buy a million packs and hope that you get good cards and getting a bunch of duplicates, you just buy sets, and each set is a full set of like whatever they release. So it has all the cards. You don't have to keep buying individual packs. But this is just the core set. So this game, a lot of people sink tons of money into it because they regularly release expansions and new campaigns and stories and stuff like that, and new cards. So people have spent like thousands of dollars, like who are obsessed with this game. Like every time there's a new expansion that comes out, they buy it. But I don't think I'm going to really buy much beyond the core game. So don't worry, Diana. I'm not going to spend all our money on expansions for this game. But it's kind of based on the kind of mythology and universe of H.P. Lovecraft, kind of that old-timey horror, spooky stuff. I'm guessing some of the storylines are based on stories of his, I think. I don't know. But it's campaign-based, so there's kind of a story, and it progresses depending on how you do each game. I'm just going to try to play through one scenario or part of a scenario depending on how slow I am. Let's see, just checking the comments here. Got to remember to check those periodically. Yeah. Oh, Lomatoki's here too. Hi. Hello, everyone. Hello, family. Yeah, I'll try not to spend all our money on this game. It depends how much I like it, I guess. So I got most of it already set up. I tried to do all the setup prior, but I will kind of read some of the introductory stuff, try to get everyone kind of into the feel of it. So let's see, where should I start? So there's right here, there's this campaign booklet, and the campaign is called The Night of the Zealot. And it starts out, there's some text here I'll read, some spooky text to get us all into the spooky Halloween mood. So let's see. The Ghoul's Hunger, Friday, September 18th, 1925, Arkham, Massachusetts. It is the end of a long and abnormally hot summer. The first hints of autumn beckon, but a heavy heat persists, relentless. A silent, unspoken anger grips the town. Tempers are short, and in the last week alone, there have been numerous reports of townspeople coming to heated, violent blows with one another over simple misunderstandings. And now a call from James Hankerson. He claims to have found a dismembered body in his barn. Blaming the weather would be too easy. There's something wrong with this town, and not a whole lot this old soothsayer can do to stop the slide. My auguries indicate a small group of investigators will soon take note of these strange happenings and set forth to make things right. I'll be watching their progress, but I won't be holding my breath. All right, so that's the little kind of flavor text for the introduction. And it says, Night of the Zealot is a campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game for 1 to 4 players. It consists of the following scenarios, blah, 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 blah. So while playing a campaign, the players advance from one scenario to the next in sequential order, with the results of their performance and their decisions in each scenario carrying over to influence the next. Additionally, as the players advance through the story, they earn experience, which they can use to purchase new cards or upgrade existing cards for their deck. So yeah, this game comes with like starter decks for all the characters, but then there's also a deck of extra cards that you can use to customize. It's like a customizable card game. You kind of build your deck, so you have to be someone that's good at kind of deciding, building decks and deciding which cards all fit together to make a nice, efficient, good deck. I'm not really that good at that, so I don't know how into this game I will get, but you never know. Who knew I would probably spend hundreds of hours playing Gloomhaven before I got started on that. All right. So let's see, what else do I have to get? Ooh, the one thing I want to do before I start, I forgot to do this prior. There's difficulty levels, and since this game is kind of hard and I want this to kind of be chill, I'm going to switch up the difficulty. I'm going to put it on easy instead of standard. So I have to switch up this. It comes with this nice wool bag called the Chaos Bag. Oh, nice. And I'll explain that as I go along. So I got to go back in the box, grab some tokens. So where did I put that thing? This tells me how to build the Chaos Bag to make the game a little easier. And I've got to remember to stop leaning forward. So you can see my greasy hair. Huh? You can see my terrible haircut. Let's say, yay, easy mode for the busy parent life. Yeah, hell yeah. I want to start a stream of me playing Gloomhaven, but call it Chillhaven, where I kind of like make all the rules modified to make it easy and relaxed. All right, what do I need here? I need let's see, 2 +1s. Got that. 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 -1s. 1, 2. And 2 -2s. 2 2s? Oh, damn it. Every time I make a Friends reference, I'm going to get sad. All right, so we need then 2 skulls, this hooded guy, this weird thing, whatever that is, this automatic failure one, and then your special one. And this should be, I think, 16 tokens if I count everything right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ooh, I can count still. I'm not too dumb yet. All right, so now I can put this back in here. All right, I'm going to keep my rule book handy kind of off to the side here in case I forget how to play. Let's see. Yeah, sadness, sniffles. I know. What the heck? All right. So this game is played over a series of rounds. You can play it solo or you can play it in up to 4 players. If you're playing solo, you can either just do one character and do true solo, or you can control, 1 to 4 characters. I'm trying to do 2 characters because I think with 1 character it's a little boring. There's not as much interaction and synergy that where you can play cards off, your 2 characters. So I'm doing 2 characters. One I'm doing is Roland Banks. Let's see, I'm trying the Fed. So he's like a detective. What's his backstory? Roland had always taken comfort in procedure and rules. As an agent in the Bureau, he was relieved to have guidelines to follow in any given situation. But lately, his federal agent's handbook had been entirely unhelpful given the case he'd been assigned. Try as he might, Roland could find no mention of what to do when confronted with strange creatures, gates through time and space, or magic spells. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed it. And there's no way his superiors would understand. It's like X-Files. Roland knew he would have to handle this one himself. All right, so that's Roland. This is his little card that I move around the board. And then he's teamed up with a young girl named Wendy Adams. She looks kind of dark and gothy, and her name is Wendy Adams. What name does that sound like? Anyway, her backstory is Mama used to let Wendy play with her necklace when she was small. Mama would tell her stories, and Wendy would spin the necklace and watch as it glittered. Then word came that her father had been lost at sea, and Mama started acting strange, drawing unusual symbols in chalk all over the house. They took Mama to the asylum, and Wendy went to the orphanage. Before they took her away, Mama gave her the necklace to protect her. It's in quotes, it says, to protect her. Wendy stayed in the orphanage for several years before running away, deciding that she could take better care of herself on her own. Wow, she's as it says here, she's the urchin. All right. So they each have a card that has kind of their special abilities on it that'll come into play later. Boom. So each character has a deck of cards that you draw from, and you build a hand. And you can play those cards. They have different abilities or different items that you can use for different things. Way up here is, here, I'll pull. You have these 2 separate decks. One is the agenda deck and one is the act deck. Side by side, they make like a little story booklet, if you can kind of see that. You want to try to move this along by gathering clues. This is the act deck, and that's usually beneficial to you. And then as time goes on, this deck will also get advanced, but you want to try to advance this faster than this, because then bad stuff happens when you advance the agenda deck. That's like the evil forces progressing their agenda while you want to kind of progress your agenda. So different stuff will happen as we flip these over. And then up here, there's the encounter deck, which is you pull, each character pulls one of those every round, and it's either like a bad thing that happens to you or a monster that you have to fight. And then in the center of the table, this is kind of the play area where you have your locations, and your characters progress. You'll eventually open up new locations, and then different crap will happen. Then there's tokens here that represent your clues and doom tokens that you put on those cards. You have your resources that you use to spend for crap, and then your health tokens and your horror tokens. So your character basically has a set amount of horror and damage. So as you take damage from monsters, that's like your health points. And then when things scare you, that's your horror. Those are horror points. So basically you either die from wounds or from like going insane from all the horror. Oh, all right, that was a lot of words. Let me take a sip here and catch up on the chat. You missed the beginning. Is this only one player? Oh, it can be solo or multiplayer. So it's up to 4 players. And then if you play solo, you can control either 1, 2, 3, or 4 characters yourself. I was saying I'm doing 2 because I tried playing it solo with 1 character previously last year, and it feels kind of boring because you don't have the interaction of like the characters playing off each other, kind of like synergizing their strengths and weaknesses. So I'm doing 2 characters. It's not too complex to do 2 characters, I think. And then flagged for copyright. Ring from Lord of the Rings, but a necklace, right? Yep, exactly. That's funny you mentioned Lord of the Rings because that's one of the other really popular living card games. Is Lord of the Rings, which I probably wouldn't play just because I never got into the whole Lord of the Rings thing. I've never read the books. I saw, I think, 1.5 of the movies. Way too long. Just never a kind of a universe or fandom that I got into. There's also a Marvel living card game, I believe. People love that one too. People love those 3. Like those are the big ones. All right, so I guess we'll try to get started. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything in my trusty Learn to Play book. I got all this crap shuffled already. You set up the scenario. Okay. Oh, I gotta read. There's one more thing I gotta read. Okay, so I got the campaign set up, and now I read the campaign log. This thing here. Part 1. So this is scenario 1 of the campaign, The Gathering. You and your partners have been investigating strange events taking place in your home city of Arkham, Massachusetts. Over the past few weeks, several townspeople have mysteriously gone missing. Recently, their corpses turned up in the woods, savaged and half-eaten. Christ. The police and newspapers have stated that wild animals are responsible, but you believe there's something else going on. You are gathered together at the lead investigator's home to discuss these bizarre events. I'm guessing we're at Roland Banks' home because that'd be weird for the orphan to have her own home if she's like a street urchin. So we'll just say we're at Roland Banks' home. Okay, so you start out in the study. Let's see. It's hard to focus on these cards, but anyway, it says on this card, you've been investigating the strange events occurring in Arkham for several days now. Your desk is covered in newspaper articles, police reports, and witness accounts. So anytime you go to a location, you reveal it. So you flip it open, and then there's some more text. It says, the door to your study has vanished. Ooh, spooky. So every time you reveal location, it tells you a number of clues to put on that location, and it says 2 per investigator. So that means we put 4 clues. I'm going to put a 1 and a 3. I think that equals 4. And put that on there. So that means we have 4 clues we would like to find at that location. We put our investigators there, and that means that they're both in the study. All right. So then the game works by progressing through a series of rounds. Each round has 4 phases. The Mythos phase, where you kind of draw new cards, but you skip that on the first turn. I remember that. Then there's an investigation phase where each character takes their turns doing a series of actions. And then the enemy phase, where if there's any enemies, they can attack. And then there's an upkeep phase where you gain some resources, reset some crap, and then you do it all over again. Right? Everyone lost? Everyone following along? Boring? Is everyone sleeping? All right. How's everyone doing on this Monday night anyway? Is everyone excited for Halloween? I know I am. I just hope we get trick-or-treaters at our house. Last year we didn't get crap. Little rat bastards. Don't they want candy? All right. Okay, so I've got my trusty reference card here that reminds me of all the stuff I can do. So, like I said, we skip the Mythos phase on the first turn, and we go to our investigation phase. So each investigator, each of my characters will take... Oh, crap, I forgot. I have to draw starting hands. That's kind of important, right? Yeah, you wish you could have trick-or-treaters. I know, that's when we lived in the condo. It was weird because obviously people aren't coming into our condo asking for candy. All right, so to draw your hand, each character draws 5 cards. If you draw what's called a weakness, or if you draw a weakness, you can set it aside, excuse me, and redraw, and you can do one mulligan as well. Ooh, a research librarian, that might be nice to have an ally. That might be a cool card to keep. Vicious Blow. Old Book of Lore. I don't remember that card being that cool. Ooh, this first aid is pretty cool to have. And then I'm going to do a mulligan. So I discard these 2 cards. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. Boom. A flashlight and guts. Dang it, I need a weapon. But a flashlight is pretty good. That helps me find clues. So for Wendy's hand, we got sneak attack. Deal 2 damage to an exhausted enemy at your location. That's pretty cool. Oh, Wendy's amulet. So each character has their own special item that they have in their deck. So that's good to draw this on your first draw. So I don't have to wait to cycle through my deck to find it. Ooh, a 41 Derringer. So she's got a pistol, so she'll keep that. Flashlight, keep that because that's good for finding clues. And then, ooh, and she's got an ally, Leo De Luca. So you can have allies that are like little helper people that you put in your play area that do, they give you special abilities and advantages and stuff. All right, so each character, so she's keeping all her cards. I'm not going to redraw any for her. So we're ready to go. So there's a series of types of different actions you can do on your turn. You can do up to 3 of them. You can do them in any order, and you can repeat actions if you want, but you can only do 3 on your turn. Pretty sure that's blurry and you can't read that, but I think early on what you're probably going to want to do, since there's no monsters, is we're going to want to try to get these clues off here, these little clue tokens. So anytime, like trying to find clues, and there's all kinds of things that you do throughout this game that require skill checks against certain attributes you have. So there's always a number of your, like that character's level of ability at whatever skill you're trying to do. And then there's a chaos bag that you pull from that modifies that number. So this kind of adds the randomness when you do your skill checks. For those who, remember their gloomy days, that's kind of like the equivalent of the attack modifier deck, where you make an attack and then go to the deck, draw a card, and there's like a -1 or a +1, or that stupid null modifier that cancels your attack, which there's an equivalent token in the chaos bag here. So it can be frustrating. Okay. A flashlight. Yes. Let's see. Kids, let me go to the comments. The kids were going to go around school, but it's too cold. Just bundle them up. Yes, my wife, a flashlight. It helps you find clues. Also, we're all blind. Yeah. Oh, and the parade was canceled. Oh man. Gloomies for life. Yep, not the null. Yep, Nessa knows about the null modifier. Let's see. All right. I think we can actually get started. I've only been yapping away for a half hour. That's like this channel I follow on YouTube. This guy, he's got a channel called Rob's Gaming Table, which is funny because that's my name, so I can't use that name. And every time he starts a game, he yaps on for like an hour before him and his wife actually get started playing the games. So I'm at a half hour, so I figure I'm still, ahead of the game. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to find clues. I'm going to have Roland Banks go first. He's the man and the adult in the room, so he's going to go first. Just kidding. He is the adult, though. All right, so like I said, we want to find clues. So I have up to 3 actions. I'm not going to, what does this research librarian do? So after research librarian enters play, search your deck for a tome asset and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. I don't know if that's very helpful. I wonder if I should pretend I didn't finish my mulligan and draw a different card. Although he can soak up a little bit of damage and horror, so that could be useful. I can always discard him. All right, so we'll keep him. Evidence, I'm not going to play yet. That's something you play after you defeat an enemy. The first aid, this gives me back health points or horror points if I'm damaged, but there's no monsters out yet. Guts, this is for committing. You can commit cards to a skill test to give you a better chance of winning or passing that skill check. But the one I'm going to play is, so this to play a card costs one of my actions. I'm going to play the flashlight. This helps me investigate. So one of my actions, I'm going to play this card, play it into my play area here. It costs, there's a number up here that's hard to read, but that's a 2. That's the number of resources I have to pay. You start out with 5 resources. So I'm going to pay 2. Now I have 3 left. And then this uses 3 supplies. So I have to put 3 tokens on here. So each time I use this, I have to get rid of one of these tokens. And I can spend an action to play this, or to use the ability on this card. I can spend 1 supply and investigate my location, and my location gets a -2 shroud value, which means the shroud value is like the number you have to pass on your skill check. So a higher shroud value means it's harder to find clues at that location. All right, so I spent 1 action. I'm going to spend another action to investigate. So I use up one of the resources on here, and now I get to go to the chaos bag. Ooh, spooky chaos. I get to reach my hand into a bag. All right, so I have to, -2 shroud value means the shroud value is 0. So as long as I don't get like a really bad modifier, my I don't know what this skill is called, intelligence, whatever it's called, is 3. So as long as I don't get a really bad draw, so you can see I'm reaching in here, I don't know what I'm drawing. Draw a random one. A -1. So that means that I have a 2, which is greater than 0 last time I checked. So that means we pass. So you take a clue token, put it on your little card. So basically, there's the back of my head. This card here, I have to 2, see this 2 per investigator. I have to get 4 clues before I can flip this card over and advance it. So that's why I'm gathering clues right now. All right, so I have 1 more action left. So I can investigate again, which I probably will do because I don't have a weapon to play. I don't need to play my first aid yet. I don't really need to play my research librarian. Let's see, I can't fight because there's no one there. I can't evade. I could draw a card or get a resource, but I think at this point we just want to get clues. So I'm going to spend 1 more action to activate this card, spend 1 of these resources, and then reach into my chaos bag. Ooh, spooky. 0. So that means 3 plus 0 is greater than 0. Greater than 0, I think. It is. So let's see. So I get 1 more clue. So I got to swap out this 3, put 1 on there, and then put 2 on there. Bloop, bloop. Okay, so that's 3 actions. That means Roland has gone. So I flip this color side over to this black and white side to signify that he's gone for this turn. All right. So now Wendy Adams is going to go. So she's got this ally, but he is... Ooh, I should play him early because I can take an additional action during my turn. I think that's just an ongoing ability. But I basically have to use an action to draw a resource, spend all 6 of my resources. But then I could, I think that might be the way. Let me see what else we got. I got a flashlight. She's got a weapon. She's got Wendy's amulet. I think Wendy's amulet you want to play later. So I'm not going to play that yet. She's got a weapon, sneak attack. She's got a flash. She's also has a flashlight. So they both got flashlights. They came prepared. But I think this will help me for the whole game being able to play an extra action. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to spend 1 action to gain a resource. I'm going to spend 1 action to play Leo De Luca. That's funny. Leandro Luca. Ain't that something? So I think we're really meant to play this card. All right, so I have to spend, because there's a 6 up there, I have to spend 6 resources to play this card. So there goes all my resources. So that was 2 actions, right? Because I used an action to get a resource. I used an action to play the card. So we have no resources, so I can't play any cards. So I can either draw a card or gain a resource or investigate. Her intelligence is 3. This is a shroud value of 2. I think at this point we probably just need more resources. So she's going to use her final act. Oh no, she's got 2 more actions because now we can take an additional action each turn because of Leandro Luca. OMG, right? So I will use one of those 2 to gain an extra resource. And then, for the bleep of it, let's investigate. We're going to, the shroud value is 2 because she hasn't played a flashlight, so she doesn't get that -2 bonus. But let's reach into the chaos bag. Maybe it won't be so chaotic. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Judy's sleeping. How cute. +1. How do you like that? So she gets a 3 + 1, 4. That is definitely greater than 2. So she also has a clue. So we're off to a good start. We've already gotten 3 of the 4 clues from that room. Right? Right. So flip her over. That didn't sound good. Flip her card over. And now we move on to the enemy phase. So obviously the first turn, there's no enemies present. So there's nothing to do in the enemy phase. So we move to the upkeep phase. So the upkeep phase, sorry. First, you reset all the flipped cards. So ready these guys again. Bloop, bloop. Ready all exhausted cards. There's no exhausted cards right now. Exhausted cards mean like you have a card and sometimes some cards you use them and they become exhausted. So you turn them 90 degrees to indicate that they've been used. So that means resetting them back. But there's no exhausted cards right now, so we don't do that. And then each investigator draws 1 card and gains 1 resource. So we'll have Roland go first. He gets a resource, draws a card. Ooh, we got a knife. That weirdo on the card. All right, so that's a weapon that I can play later that helps me in battle, obviously. Plus, you can cut rope with it. Just kidding. You can't do that in this game. And then Wendy is going to take a resource and grab a card. Elusive. She gets a event. So it's fast. So a fast play card, you don't have to spend an action to use. I can disengage from each enemy engaged with you and move to a revealed location with no enemies. So that can be helpful. So each character, has different strengths and weaknesses. So Roland is better in battle. He's like stronger. Wendy is more elusive. She's better at getting away, but she's not very strong in battle. So like her tactic is to, evade the enemies, where Roland's kind of strategy would be more attacking them and killing them. And when you evade enemies, that actually exhausts them for the turn. So it makes it so they can't do any action. So her strategy is to kind of evade them so then they don't act, and then Roland can come in and stab them or shoot them, whatever weapon he is. All right, so okay, so yeah, so each character took a card, got a resource, and then you have to, at the end of each turn, if you have more than 8 cards, you have to discard until you have only 8. You can only have a maximum of 8 cards in your hand. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Roland's good. What's Wendy got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's good. So thus begins the next round. So that was all that blabbing. That was 1 round of the game. So that means we take a sip. Yummy. And Diana, I've got a glass for you for when you come in the room. Judy's partially awake. She's eyeballing me from her crate. And she's still wearing her little Halloween basketball jersey. If the camera wasn't taped to a piece of wood, I would move it and show you her, but I can't do that right now. All right, so let's start the next round. Okay, so this time we do the mythos phase up at the top. So for that, we've place one doom on the agenda. So this token with the red is a doom token. So you place one on that card. I should probably kind of back up here. This should have done this earlier, but there's a little more kind of story text on each one of these cards. So Agenda 1A, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I could also do that other song. What's going on? Okay, sorry about that. It is late at night. You are holed up in your study, researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in the region. A few hours into your research, you hear the sound of strange chanting coming from your parlor down the hall. At the same time, you hear dirt churning as if something were digging beneath the floor. If I heard strange chanting coming from our parlor, I would crap my pants probably. Okay, so I'll put that Doom token back on there, but basically once I get 3 tokens on here, I have to flip that card. And then this is the Act deck, Act 1A, Trapped. As you leap to investigate, the door to your study vanishes before your eyes, leaving behind only solid wall. You're trapped inside your study until you can find another way out. Hopefully we got plenty of whiskey in the study. All right. Okay, so back to the Mythos phase. We placed one Doom token on the agenda. Now we advance the agenda if Doom threshold is satisfied. It is not. Once we hit 3, then we would advance that card. And then each investigator draws 1 card from the top of the encounter deck, and then we have to resolve it. So this up here is the encounter deck. So we'll have Roland go first. So we draw the top card, and it is a Treachery. This says Ancient Evils. Revelation. Place 1 Doom on the current agenda. This effect can cause the current agenda to advance. Then it says, dark forces stir against you. If you do not act quickly, a sinister plot will be fulfilled. So basically this kind of speeds up the advancing of the agenda deck, which we don't want. So I will place 1 Doom token on there as they instruct me to. And then once you resolve it, you just put it in the discard pile. And then now Wendy draws a card, and we get, Swarm of Rats, Hunter. So that comes into play later if they have the hunter keyword. It says, a horde of cruel rats skitters forth in an undulating wave of claws, teeth, and mottled fur. That's freaking disgusting. Sounds like our alley. So anytime an enemy is revealed, it goes into, I have to push this up out of the way a little bit. Up above here is supposed to be what's called your threat area. So a monster that is revealed will engage whichever enemy or whichever character drew the card. So you put that in there in your threat area, and that'll come into play later. So right now the rats are engaged with Wendy Adams, meaning that they are kind of like coming after her to battle her. And I'll show you where you can either attack or you evade those monsters. So that's not good. Okay, so that is the end of the Mythos phase. No Matoki, I'm out. Can't do rats. Yep, sorry. Hopefully I dispatch them quickly. So let's see. So now it's the investigator phase again. So now we can choose who wants to go first. So it could strategically, it could make sense for one or the other to go first, depending on how we're attacking or evading. So Wendy could try to evade the rats. Oh, I hear someone coming in the room. I hope it's my wife and not a swarm of rats. It's my wife. Here, do you want to take that?
Baby monitor.
Do you want beer?
Sure.
You can hand me that glass. Pause for a moment. All right.
Sorry.
This is for my wife.
Baby sleeping.
Okay. You can't hear me talking from in there, can you? Okay, good. All right. All right. So what do we do? Okay, so Wendy could try to evade the rats, and then that would exhaust them, and then they wouldn't attack. And then Roland could attack them, but what we could do is just have Roland engage them, meaning that he would they would go into his threat area, and then he could attack them. And they're pretty easy to kill because we don't want Wendy to attack because she's not very strong. Although she does have a Derringer. You get +2 for your attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, this attack deals +1 damage. They only have 1 health point, so it'd be pretty easy to kill them. So she's going to need that Derringer anyway, but let's see. I think I think she's going to hold on to that for now. And we're going to have Roland engage and then attack. And that way she won't have to worry about him because she can't do anything else except either evade or fight, or else the rats will attack in what's called an attack of opportunity. So she either has to get rid of the rats or suffer some damage. So I think we're going to have Roland go first again. So he's got 3 actions, or in Europe, 3 actions. So first he's going to spend 1 to engage the rats in combat. So that means they move over to his threat area. So there's numbers up here that have different values. The 1 is their health points. This 3 is their evade value. So if you try to evade them, you have to do a skill check against your agility. And then that's their kind of defense value. So when you do an attack, that's the value you have to do better than. Okay, so he spent 1 action to engage. Now he's going to spend 1 action to fight. And that he has no weapon, so it's just a raw. He's basically just punching the rats, I guess, or stomping on them. So he's got an attack value of 4. So we draw a chaos token. He needs better than, after the modifier, he needs better than 1. -1. So that's 3. That is definitely greater than 1, I think. So that means that the rats are dead. So all my other rats are dead. There's probably going to be more, though, just so you're aware. So then they go in the discard up here. And that means he has 1 action left. So he can play a card or investigate. But I think we'll have Wendy investigate. But he's got the flashlight too, though. But it would be nice for him to be able to play his knife. So maybe we just need 1 more clue from that location. So she should be able to do it with her 4 actions. So yeah, we're going to spend 1 resource, play the knife. So basically now, anytime he fights, he gets a +1 for his skill checks. And then if he discards the knife during a fight, he gets +2, and it also deals an extra damage. So that's pretty cool. All right. So that's 3 actions. His turn is over. Gotta try to make some room here as I play more cards. So that means Wendy is going. She's got 4 actions. So let's see. She has a flashlight, but the shock value is 2. Her intelligence is 3. We could just try to investigate. and not play the flashlight because that's going to use up all our resources. And I'd rather probably get probably rather get her Derringer in play so she has a weapon for when she fights. So we're just going to do a straight up investigate and hope that we don't draw anything worse than -1. So reach into the chaos bag. It's so chaotic. I hate it. Ooh, I think this is good. So this icon here basically means you invoke the skill specific to your character that's on their card, which says +0. If Wendy's amulet is in play, you automatically succeed instead. So I haven't played her amulet, so it's just a +0, which is fine. That means we succeed the check. And that means that combined we have a total of 4 clues, which means we can advance our act deck. That's me flipping a card. All right. So I grabbed this guy up here. So this is 2, and then there's a little icon that means per investigator. So that means 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Not only do you get to see me, not only do I entertain you, but I also teach you mathematics. All right, so let me put that down. So I have to spend our 4 clues. So that means I put them back there, and then we flip this over and read. Ooh, just like Gloomies, there's a lot of reading. The door on the floor. You notice that the edges of your newly purchased rug are tattered and mud-stained. Who the hell did that? That son of a... Finding this odd, you shift the furniture aside and pull back the rug. To your surprise, you see the door leading out of your study. You slowly turn the knob, and the door swings open, revealing your hallway below. You jump through the doorway, landing on your feet on soft dirt. The door to the study slams shut above you. The smell of burning wood fills the narrow hall, intermingled with the scent of rot and decay. All right, so it says put into play the set-aside hallway, cellar, attic, and parlor. So those are 4 locations that were currently out of play that I have to put into play. And then discard each enemy in the study, which there aren't any. And then place each investigator in the hallway, and then remove the study from the game. Can't go in there anymore. So this one just goes out of play over here. It's gone. Can't see it. It's gone. You can still see the corner of it. Okay, it's gone. All right. My throat is dry, so hold on. All right, so like I said, this is going to be out of play, the study. And then we have to put into play all these other locations. So we got the, and what did it say? We have to go in the hallway. Place each investigator in the hallway. All right, so let's see, how can I arrange these? Hallway, let's do it like this. Hallway's over here. We'll put the cellar down here, the attic up here, and the parlor here. We go in the hallway, and then we have to reveal the hallway. This says, a moment of panic and disorientation strikes as you land upon the floor of the hallway. The world spins as if turned on its head. And then there's no clues here, so that sucks. The walls of your house are splattered with mud, and your hardwood floor is gone, replaced with a dirt path. I know, who's going to clean all this crap up? Oh, forgot, he already went. All right, so we're in the hallway. Wendy took what? Only one action, right? All she did was investigate. So that means she has 3 more, right? Because she's got Leo DeLuca. You may take an additional action during your turn. Yeah, so that's a what am I saying? That's a permanent persistent action. Oh, I forgot to read this text on here. So Leo DeLuca, it says he's the Louisiana Lion. And then down here it says, I was born in Mississippi. Louisiana just sounded better. That's my southern accent. Let's see. Yes, we do love to read.
Story time.
So, oh yeah, so she just used one action. She's got 3 more. She investigated. So one of the things you can do is move. You can spend an action to move, and then it's hard to see, but there's these icons that show you um, which locations they connect to. Ultimately, we need to get to this parlor, but it says on here the entrance to the parlor is blocked by a darkly glowing, unfathomable barrier. That's hard to say. That's a hard word to say after you've had a little bit of strong beer. You cannot move into the parlor. Okay, so I can't move into the parlor yet. But there's this icon at the top here matches the attic and the cellar, so I can go into either one. So where do we think we should go, the attic or the cellar? First one to respond, I guess, will be where we go. Because I can't do anything in the hallway because there's no clues and there's no monsters with us right now, so I pretty much got to move. I could play a card too. Let me think about that. Well, I think I want to wait till I get to the next room to see what I'm gonna do. To see if I'm gonna play a card. She could play her Derringer. Anyone have an opinion? What's spookier, the attic or the cellar? Let's see. I think I feel like going in the attic since I don't have any takers, or else I'm just on such a massive delay that like all of a sudden after I make a choice, then all of a sudden everyone's gonna chime in. All right. She's gonna spend one of her second action to move attic. Okay. It just popped up. That's where I was going. Okay.
Yep.
So she's going into the attic. That means we reveal the attic. It says, the smell of rotten meat assaults your nostrils as you approach the attic stairs. Good choice. So we flip it over to reveal it. Oh, God. So forced. So something that's anything that says forced means is action you have to take right away. So after you enter the attic, take 1 horror. The bloody carcass of a malformed beast swings from a meat hook chained to the ceiling. Blood drains slowly from the carcass, dripping into a small barrel. If I ever go up in our attic and I see that up there, we're moving. All right. So shroud value of 1, so it's pretty easy to find the clues up here. And then there's 2 clues per investigator. So I got to put 4 clues on here. You know, I just realized she didn't even have to spend an action on that. I'm going to do a little backup here because I believe when I killed, so Roland's got the special ability. It says after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. So that's an automatic. So I should have gotten that clue automatically when I killed those rats. So that means she wouldn't have had to spend an action. So that means she still has 3 more actions left. So I don't think that's cheating because I'm not like, it's not like I had any prior, like I didn't gain any knowledge and then I'm backing up and having, insight into what's going to happen. So I think that's fair. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Seinfeld reference. So what I say, she still has 3 more actions. So she's got clues. We need resources. I think there's only a shroud value of 1. We do want to play a Derringer. So I think we're going to get that out of the way first. So first, she needs to... Dang it, that's going to use up all our resources, though. But, oh well. So she's going to spend 1 action to gain a resource. Then she's going to play the Derringer. That takes 3 resources. And then it has 3 uses, basically 3 ammo that you put on here. Zip, zip, zip. So that's, she has 1 action left, right? And I said 1, 2. She moved. She got a resource. She played a card. So should we try? Yeah, let's try to investigate. Because it's only shroud value of 1. She's got a 3, so we reach into our hand. Boop. -1. Good. That means 3 minus 1 is 2. It's greater than 1. So boom. Give me a clue. All right. That's her turn, right? Yep. Bloop. Okay, so we would go to the enemy phase, but we already killed the rats, so no enemy phase. So now we do the upkeep phase. So let's flip them back over. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but I got nerdy and sleeved. I bought card sleeves, so I'm sleeving. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sleeving my cards. That's what all the cool board game nerds do. Especially when it's a card-focused game and you're handling the cards a lot, and it's sort of, not collectible, but whatever. It's probably good to sleeve them. Moving on. Ready all exhausted cards. There's none. Each investigator draws a card and gains a resource. Boom. Ooh, machete. Got a machete. That's probably better than a knife. Is it? You get +1 for the attack. If the attacked enemy is the only enemy engaged with you, the attack deals +1 damage. Slightly better than the regular knife. So Wendy gains a resource and then draws a card. Another, what the bleep? What do I need 2 flipping flashlights for? All right, anyway. And then discard down to 8. I definitely don't have 8 cards. All right, so that is the end of the second round. Sleeves. You don't want to go sleeveless. You look like a douche. All right, let me take a sip. It's funny. It's like the angle. It's almost like you're drinking when I take a sip. It's kind of fun for the audience. It's like they're virtually drinking beer. I don't know if anyone's ever tried that before. I'm pouring some more. Do you want to pour it on the cards? By the way, this table I'm playing on, this table has been in my family probably since either around when I was born or slightly before I was born. But this is the table that growing up I ate almost every dinner at with my family. This is every house I've lived at. This was in our kitchen or dining room. It was probably pretty old when my parents bought it probably as an antique. And then when they moved out of their house, my brother took it to his house. And then when we moved in here, he didn't have any room for it anymore. So we brought it over here. And now it is the gaming table. So I thought that was, some nice Rob trivia for you. It is cute. All right, let's see. For when the battery runs out in your first flashlight. Well, I mean, kind of exactly when, because the flashlight has limited resources, which basically is like simulating, kind of like standing in for batteries. So when I playing another flashlight card is essentially like putting new batteries in it. You get 3 more uses out of it. And this keeps my head keeps brushing against the cable from the camera. Let's see. Hold on. Sorry, a little wobbly. Whoa. All right. Okay, next round. Wait, let me take one more sip.
I'm not scared yet.
You're not scared about the hanging meat? Jesus.
But,
All right. Yeah, it kind of wobbles the camera every time my hair touches it. All right, so we go back to the mythos phase. Place one doom on the agenda. Oh, I forgot. I almost forgot. No one reminded me. When I flipped over the attic, I have to take one horror. So I take one horror token, which is it's like a little brain, and I have to put it on Wendy's card. She can suffer a maximum of 7 horror before she goes insane. She's actually able. She's got stronger, I guess, wits than Roland Banks, who can only take 5 horror, but he's stronger. He can take up to 9 damage points, where she can only take 7. All right, so I have to place another Doom token on this. Now it's 3, so I have to flip it over. So let's take these, put them back, and stupid thing, flip this over. All right, a lapse in time. Your house continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed and the ground in many rooms has turned to dirt. It is almost as if you have been transported somewhere else entirely, although every now and again you recognize elements of your former home. The lead investigator must decide. Choose one. Either each investigator discards one card at random from his or her hand, or the lead investigator takes 2 horror. So I guess I decided that early on that Roland Banks is the lead investigator, so I definitely don't want him to take 2 horror, because then he's only got 3 left. And if he takes 5, then he goes insane and he's out for the rest of the scenario. So we each have to discard a card at random from our hands, each investigator. So that kind of sucks. And then that card's out of play. And then the next card, 7 Doom tokens. So it'll take a while before we flip over that next one. But I'm shuffling. You see me shuffling. I have to take a card at random and discard it. I hope it's not a good one. First aid. Ugh. I hope I have another one of those in my hand that comes up soon. I know, yeah. That would have been nice to have. All right, now Wendy has to do the same. Her extra flashlight. Oh well. Oh well. I'll scooch these over. I need more room. Bloop. And then, okay, so now we still haven't even gotten to the part where we have to draw from the encounter deck. So Roland first. He's got a treachery, dissonant voices, revelation. Put dissonant voices into play in your threat area. You cannot play assets or events. At the end of the round, discard dissonant voices. All right, so I guess that's not too terrible. So this turn, I can't play from my hand. I can't play an asset or an event card. So those actions aren't available to me. I can still do everything else, and it's only for this round. I discard it at the end of the round. And then Wendy draws a card. She also has a treachery, Ancient Evils. This is a copy of that card that we already drew. Place 1 doom on the current agenda. This effect can cause the current agenda to advance, but it won't. All right, and so then discard that. All right. So that is the end of the mythos phase. Now we go on to the investigation phase. Just neatening up a little bit here, sorry. Or I'm making it worse. All right, so who should go first? Let me see. What do we need to do? So we got to get more clues. I'm wondering if we should split up, or like it's probably best that we work together, because she's not a good fighter. She's good at evading, so she can kind of make them. She can exhaust the enemies while Roland attacks them. if need be. I think if we're split up, it could turn into a sticky situation. So I might have him move there. I'll have him go first and move and maybe do some investigating. He's got an intelligence of 3, so they both have the same skill at investigating, so he doesn't really have an advantage per se, except he does have 1 left in his flashlight. But no, let's have him go there. Because I'm scared if I go to the cellar, there's going to be something scary in there, and then he's going to get scared, and he's going to have to put a thing on his card. Splitting up is always good in horror movies, right? I know. I wonder if they're both virgins. Sorry, we just watched Scream, so that comes into play. That'd be funny if Roland Banks, the old investigator guy. Never mind. So yeah, I'm gonna have him move toward Wendy. And if we can get these clues quickly, then we might move this thing along quicker than I thought. And that would be good. What time is it anyway? 8:40? Oh man, how long do we want to go? How long have we been doing this? Like an hour and a half? Wrap it up. Okay. All right. I'll be right back, right? I know, famous last words. Okay, so he's gonna move. He's gonna spend 1 action, bloopity bloop, move in the same room up to the attic with Wendy. He's gonna investigate, so he will. I can't play any cards. So he's gonna use a second action to investigate. He's going to spend his last flashlight thing and investigate. And the shroud value is -2. So that means the shroud value is -1. So go in the chaos bag. Cork bleeper. Oh man, that's the automatic fail. That's the null modifier. Jesus. All right, so that's a waste of action. I was going to use another action to draw a card or gain a resource, but I'm going to investigate again. If I draw that stupid...
Pull out a good one.
Are you bleeping kidding me? Oh my god. So that was a waste of 2 actions. Oh my god. Crikey. Christ almighty. All right, his turn's over. So that means it's I want to say Wednesday. Wendy's turn. So first, I guess she'll just try to investigate till she gets all the clues. We're not necessarily in a rush to get all those clues because we could use the time to kind of build our hands up and get more resources. So I think she's going to investigate at least once. She's out. She doesn't have any flashlight left. All right, she pulled this one. This is an icon. Each scenario, this has a different effect. So this one says -1. If you fail, take 1 horror. So the shroud value is 1. She's got a 3, -1, 2. So she's good. So she gets a clue. I think what we want to do next, though, so that was her first action, right? We need more resources. Let me look at a card. Does she need to play a card? She only has 1 resource, so she can't really play anything right now. So she's definitely going to draw 1 more resource. So that's her second action, right? I think she should do that 1 more time, and then she's going to draw a card in case we get like a really good one that we're going to want. Yeah, I can't believe. Did I draw it 3 times in a row or twice? Twice? That's insane. All right, so she's drawn another card. She gets backstab. So this is an event that you can play, and it allows you to fight. So you can attack an enemy, and this attack uses agility instead of strength. This attack deals +2 damage. This is a really good friggin' card. because her agility is 4, whereas her attack is 1, and it deals +2 damage. So we got to hang on to this till like a boss or something shows up, because in hope that we don't draw any effects that make us lose this card, because that's a really good card. I'm gonna put it in the back and keep it tucked away. Maybe it'll be safe back there. Was that her 4th? What did she investigate? 2 resources and then drew a card. Okay, so her turn's over. There's still no monsters, so we go to the upkeep phase. I just flip that over for no reason because I'm flipping it back over. Ready all exhausted cards? No. Oh, I get to discard this stupid thing, Dissonant Voices. And then we each gain a resource and draw a card. What do I get? Cover Up. This is, you have to have like a couple weakness cards in your hand, so it's basically to make it a little more difficult. So Revelation, put Cover Up into play in your threat area with 3 clues on it. When you would discover 1 or more clues at your location, discard that many clues from Cover Up instead. And then it says when the game ends, if there are any clues on Cover Up, you suffer 1 mental trauma. And that comes into play when you're in campaign mode and your character progresses. If you suffer too much mental trauma, your character is basically out of the game and you have to choose a new character. So this basically blocks me from finding clues because I have to clear them off this card first. Son of a bee sting. So that kind of leaves it up to Wendy to find the clues here. Throat is dry, parched. Too much. I don't usually talk this much. Okay, so so that was just him drawing a card, and I already gained a resource. Hand size is still good. Okay, so then now Wendy takes a resource. I can swap these out, make a change, get a big bill. So I have 4 resources for her, and I draw a card. Oh my god. So she also drew her treachery card. Jeez, I swear, it's like I thought the full moon was yesterday. Okay, take 2 direct horror. So she's already got 1, so I'm going to swap that out for a 3. And remove all cards in your discard pile from the game. Good thing it wasn't her hand, because that would have been friggin' bull crap. All right, so she's only got one card in her discard, so that doesn't really matter. It's her flashlight. All right, so these are removed from the game, so these go off to the side. Over there. Excuse me, got burpee. All right, I got her. Yeah, I grabbed her resource. Her hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So that's the end of the round. Let's try to power through another round real quick, see what happens. All right. But first, quick beer break here. Cheers. Anyone else drinking anything cool, or is everyone just drinking water and tea because it's a Monday? I'm gonna have more wine. That's a new Goosebumps reference. I recommend everyone watch, if you haven't already watched, the Goosebumps thing that they released with Justin Long and other people. All right. Okay. Mythos phase. Place 1 Doom on that friggin' thing. And then Roland Banks is going to draw a counter card. What the bleep? So twice, this is just weird. Twice in a row now, he's drawn Dissonant Voices. That means he can't play any cards this round. Whatever. I guess he can build up his hand and gain resources. All right. So then Wendy has to draw a card. Flesh Eater. That sounds great. Jesus. So this is a monster, a ghoul, that has a spawn instruction on it. So this usually they just spawn where you're at, but this has a spawn instruction, which coincidentally is in the attic. So it just spawns where we're at like it normally would. And the description is a monstrous creature feeds from the rotting carcass in the attic. Jesus. Okay, so the Flesh Eater is engaged with Wendy. He bought her a nice engagement ring. What's his? Oh my God! And he's kind of hard to beat. He's got a defense value of 4. Really. So maybe we have Wendy. Let's see. Let me check because you can use. I might have to use this machete to apply towards a skill check. Because your cards have these little icons that match your different abilities, your different skills, and you can use them to apply towards your skill checks. So maybe Wendy can evade this guy because he's easy to evade. He's only got a 1 for his evade value, and then he'll be exhausted, and then we can attack the crap out of him. Or did she have something? Ooh, yeah, sneak attack. Oh, yeah. All right. You guys ready to get your socks knocked off? I'm going to try to knock your socks off with this one. It's been a while since I've knocked socks off, but here we go. Wendy's going to go first. She is going to spend 1 action to try to evade this guy. Let me see. What's her special? Oh, I could have been doing that. Whatever. Just thinking to myself. Okay, so she has to do a skill check against her agility, which is 4. And the skull means -1 per ghoul. There's 1 ghoul at our location. So that's a 3, which is greater than 1. Successful evasion. So this guy goes, he's exhausted, so we turn him sideways and we put him in our attic. He's not in, once you evade them, they're not engaged with that person anymore, so they go up to the location you're at. So he's exhausted, so he's not even going to act this turn if we don't kill him, which is good. That's good. One less thing. And then, okay, so your socks are starting to fall off a little bit. Here's where, and that was, we used 1 action, right? The evade, yeah. Here's where the socks get knocked off. Sneak attack. It's an event, costs 2 resources, which I have. And this says deal 2 damage to an exhausted enemy at your location. See, sideways, that means he's exhausted. Is he at our location? He is. So we're going to spend 2 resources and deal 2 damage to him, which is good because he's got 4. Bloop and bloop. And then this goes in the discard. So that was 2, right? The evasion, and then that. What else can she do? God, she's got this backstab, but I really feel like we should save this for a boss. We still need to investigate, so I think she'll leave the killing to Roland. So she's going to investigate. Bloopity bloop 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 bloop. +1. That is good. She's got a clue. She's not clueless. Oh, little socks emojis. Knocked right off. All right. And then we've got one more action. I say we just investigate again. Or does she need more resources? Maybe Roland can kill that guy. No, let's just investigate. Let's get those clues. +1. Boom. All right, so we have all the clues we need, but I'm not going to spend them yet. I want to kill this bleeper first. So that's all her actions. Her turn is over. Bloopity bloop bloop bloop. So now it's Roland's turn. So the main thing we want to accomplish is killing this guy. I can't play any cards. But I can attack. My knife only does 1 damage unless I discard it, which means I can only use it once. But he's still got the machete. He's got the machete, so I can then play the machete. So let's try that. I'm going to spend 1 action to activate this knife. I'm going to discard it at the end of this and fight. That means I get to fight that enemy. And I get +2 towards my skill check, and the attack deals +1 damage, which would be enough to kill it. So if you put your socks back on, hopefully they're just going to get knocked right back off. So you might as well just leave them off. I'm reaching in the chaos bag. Pray for me. Whew. A 0. So that means we got a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 +1, 2. That's 6. +0 is 6, and his defense value is 4. So that means we hit that SOB. We cause 2 damage. He only has 4 health, so I'm not even going to put the things on there because he's dead. And then he also has, there's a victory point on here, so you'd set that aside and add up that to your victory points. That comes into play, I guess, at the end of the scenario and helps you in the next scenario as you progress through the campaign. But this dude's dead, which is good. So that was that 1 action? Right? Yeah, okay. We don't need, oh, son of a, we need 3 clues per investigator. Oy. So that means we do have to go to the cellar. Okay. I'm going to spend 1 move action. I can only move to the hallway. And then, should I draw a card or should I move again? I'm going to draw a card. Manual dexterity, max 1 committed per skill test. If this test is successful, draw 1 card. This is this helps you in skill checks. If I have to do an agility check. All right, so his turn's over. No monsters because we killed them, so no enemy phase. Upkeep phase. Flip them over back to ready. Ready all exhausted cards? No. Each investigator draws a card and gains a resource. Emergency cash. Gain 3 resources. Huh. So if I need resources for playing cards and whatnot. And this costs 0 to play, so that's cool. Now Wendy, gain a resource, draw a card. Unexpected courage. So this is applied towards skill tests, and it's got a wild card icon, 2 wild card icons, so I can use that for any skill check. Also good. And then we check hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're good. All right. Let's keep going. We will place, starting next round, Mythos phase, place 1 Doom on the agenda, draw a card for Roland. Treachery. Oh, I have to discard this one. I don't need that anymore. Crap. He can't investigate because he's still got the stupid Treachery card. Really? So Wendy's going to have to go all the way down there and investigate. Really? Grasping Hands. Revelation. Test 3. For each point you fail by, take 1 damage. Decaying hands rise up from below and grasp and claw at your ankles. So I have to do an agility check. His agility is only 2, and it's a check of 3. So I'm just gonna play this manual dexterity towards it. That adds 2 extra to the skill check. Reach in my chaos bag. -2. So what was it? 2 plus 2 minus 2. So 2 is a check of 3. So I failed by 1 point. Let me just make sure I did that right. Right. His is 2 minus 2, 0 plus 2. So I fail by 1. So I take 1 damage. Boom. All right. So this is discarded. This is discarded. Now Wendy draws a card. Ancient Evils Revolution. This is the 3rd time we've drawn this card. Place 1 Doom on the current agenda. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Discard. Okay. Investigator phase again. So I guess we'll have Roland go into the cellar and reveal it just in case there's anything real scary down there. And we'll see what he can do, and then we'll have Wendy move down there and investigate, try to get to clues. Okay, we'll have Roland go first. So he's going to move. That's 1 action. Reveal the cellar. The stairs leading down to your cellar are slick, and they glisten with a thin layer of ice. Oh, God, he's probably going to fall, dumbass. Forced. After you enter the cellar, take 1 damage. I knew it. I couldn't be careful. Your cellar seems to have been replaced with an underground network of icy tunnels and caverns. The cold chills you to the core. And then 2 clues for investigator. Oh, and there's a high shroud value here too. Fudgers. So 1, 2, 3, and then a 4. Okay, so he's got 2 more actions. There's no point in him investigating because it's just to get rid of the stuff on that. He can play cards now, so he should probably play a machete. That's 3 resources. And then I've got 1 more action. Can I play another card? Should I play this research librarian to just... search your deck for a tome asset and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. I guess we could do that because that can soak up a damage and a horror. And that'll help later. Or I can use the emergency cash to get resources. I'm going to play this guy because then that's going to cost me 2 resources. And then it says I can search my deck for a tome asset and add it to my hand and then shuffle my deck. Do I have a tome? I'm guessing I've got to. Item tome, medieval text, that's 1. Choose an investigator at your location and test as you succeed, heal 1. Okay, that's interesting. That could be cool. That helps heal. Let me see if I have any other tomes. No. All right, so I'm going to add that to my hand, and then I'm going to shuffle. Just doing a quick shuffle. Bloop. All right. Where the hell was I? So that was his third action, right? So he's done. Now Wendy's turn. So she's got 4 actions. She's gonna move once, move twice. So she's got 2 left. She needs to investigate. But there's a shroud value of 4. Her intelligence is 3. She could. She'll probably use this to get to the skill test. She has another flashlight. And she could spend 2 resources, and then she can investigate, and that because that knocks the shroud value down. Let's do that. So spend 2 resources. She's got a flashlight that has 3 uses. 1, 2, 3. So she moves twice. She played a card, so she can investigate once. So we'll use one of these. Go in the chaos bag. Librarians can help. Yes, that is very true. They're very helpful. +1. Boom. So she gets a clue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only need 1 more clue, and then we can advance the deck. Which I probably won't have time to finish this scenario because it's going to be getting late for all y'all. But at least I want to get to a point where we reveal the boss. Just so you guys can know what that's all about. All right. That was her 4th action, right? Okay. No enemies. Upkeep phase. Reset. Ready all exhausted cards. Gain a resource and a card. Emergency cache again. So he's got 2 emergency caches. She gains a resource. Draws a card. Hard Knocks talent. So she can play this asset, and then she can spend resources to get points added to her skill test. Semi-useful. Might just use it as against a skill check. All right. Hand size, good. Hand size, good. Okay. We place another stupid doom on here. 5. So it's not 7, so we don't flip that yet. Roland draws his encounter card. Swarm of rats, no big deal. So that goes in his threat area. Engaged with him. Wendy is going to draw a card. Frozen in Fear. Put Frozen in Fear into play in your threat area. The first time you perform one of the following actions, move, fight, or evade each round, it costs 1 additional action. At the end of your turn, do a test willpower. Test your willpower against 3. If you succeed, discard Frozen in Fear. So basically, that's there, and you get to do a skill check against it at the end of each turn to discard it, to get rid of it. But basically, if she's going to move, fight, or evade while that's in play, it's going to cost 2 actions instead of 1. But if we can get rid of that, then it shouldn't really hurt us too much. All right, so what do we have to do? I think let's see, what should we do? I'm gonna have, she needs 1 more clue. I'm gonna have Roland go first, and I'm going to cheat because I know what happens. And I'm going to strategically have him spend 2 movements to go into the hallway and then back up into the attic. That was 2. I haven't done anything else with him yet, right? Okay. And then he played his machete. Wait, oh no, I can't do that. Okay, I forgot. And this actually might be a good thing. So I haven't used any actions yet because I forgot there's a swarm of rats engaged them. If he would have moved, they would have attacked him. So I'm going to kill them. So I'm going to use one action to activate fight. I get +1 for the attack. And then this, I think, according to the reference, this is a -1. And that doesn't matter that easily because I have a 4 plus the machete 5, -1, 4 against a value of 1. So I've defeated the rats. So they're discarded, and then my innate ability says after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. So that means I get to take 1 card off a cover-up. But I still don't get the clue because of this stupid card. So I guess he will still spend 2 movement now to get up to the attic, and then his turn is over. He's cheating. Yeah, who's gonna stop me? So his turn's over. So Wendy's gonna go. She's going to use 1 action to investigate. So spend 1 resource from her flashlight. -1. The shroud value is 2 because of the flashlight, and her 3 -1, 2. So she still passes. Okay. That was a 3, so that means we get 1 and leave 2 there. Not that it matters because we're not going to need this. So we have the 6 we need to flip that, but before we do that, she spent 1 action, right? So she's going to move 1, move 2. That means she's got 1 action left. So she could play a card, she could gain a resource. Event. So okay, so she might need this. She could play her amulet, and that means that she can play the topmost event in the discard pile as if it were in her hand. That's pretty cool. But she also needs resources. I think that's more important right now. She's going to spend an action to get an extra resource. Her turn's over. And so now I think we're going to flip. We're going to spend our 6 clues to flip this. All right. Using the barrel from the attic, you carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. The barrier sparks and shudders as it consumes the ice, then hisses and fades out of existence. The barrier blocking passage into the parlor has vanished. Reveal the parlor. Okay, so we reveal the parlor. There's no clues. Place the set-aside Lita Chantler into play in the parlor. Spawn the set-aside Ghoul Priest in the hallway. So actually, I kind of cheated incorrectly because I didn't actually want to go in the attic. I wanted to be in the hallway. I guess that's what you get for cheating, right? All right, so this comes out of play, and then these set-aside cards. What did it say? Put Lita Chantler. So this is an ally that you can do a skill check to get her like basically on your side, and then she helps you for the rest of the scenario. So she goes in the parlor. And then the Ghoul Priest. So look at who's scary, Ghoul Priest. He goes into play in the hallway. Oh, this is gonna be tough. So he goes in the hallway. And then what does this card say? What have you done? A woman with a torch stands in your parlor, a glimmer of hatred in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams, furious. Before you can answer, a ghastly wail sounds from behind you, and a creature wearing robes and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing toward you. Objective: if the ghoul priest is defeated, advance. So basically, that would be the end of the scenario: is defeating the ghoul priest. I love the random Artemis giggles. All right, so that was her last action. So that goes to the enemy phase. So what's going to happen now is this son of a bee sting is going to move because he's got the hunter keyword. So that means he hunts down his prey. And he also has a prey keyword that says who he's going to attack. So whoever has the highest attack value, which would be Roland Banks. So he deals 2 damage and 2 horror. So he's going to move and then engage with Roland. So we put him here, and then he's going to attack. So basically there's no defense. Like when they attack, that just means they deal the damage. There's no but let me see if I have a fast play I can use. No. Not one that pertains there. So he's going to attack. So he's going to deal 2 damage. I've already got 2, so that means I'm going to have 4. And then he's going to deal 2 horror. Like, I don't have medical supplies yet. All right. And then that's the only enemy, right? So then we go to the phase. So we flip these guys over. Judy just made a funny noise. Just went. That means it's time to wrap it up, I guess. All right, so I ready all exhausted cards. Then each character draws a resource and draws a card. Ooh, I got a 45 automatic. I got a weapon. That's pretty nice. Let's see. Do I have? Oh, I don't have enough resources yet, but I will soon. But is it? I don't know if it's really any better than my machete, which is hilarious that a gun isn't necessarily any better than a machete. Okay. And then Wendy's going to swap these 3 out for a big bill. And then she's going to draw a card. Burglary, talent, illicit, exhaust burglary, investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, gain 3 resources. That doesn't really help me now because we don't need to investigate anymore. But at the end of her turn, I do have to do that skill check of 3 against her willpower, which is 4. So maybe, let's see, do I have anything with willpower? I don't want to use up that yet, so I'm just going to not use a modifier and draw from the chaos bag to try to get rid of that treachery. That is a -1. So what does she have? A 4, -1, 3. So all she needed was a 3. So she passed, so we get rid of this stupid frozen in fear. All right, toss it there. And then we check our hand size. That's not 8. That is also not 8. I gotta make room here because I don't want my hand to interfere with her discard pile. Oh, and then this, yeah, okay, that guy was exhausted, but then he re-enabled. All right, that's the end of that round. I think that's probably a good stopping point. It's like I get right up to the exciting part, and then it's late, and now I'm stopping. At least you got to see the boss, the ghoul priest. Scary, right? Think about that in your dreams tonight. All right. Well, I guess I'll do my wrap up spiel. Um, Hold on, just neatening up here. Let me pour a little beer. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. This has been kind of fun to get back into a little bit of gaming and talking while I'm doing it instead of just sitting here late at night drinking on a weekend and thinking to myself what to do.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It's kind of, it's kind of fun to, it's like I'm not playing alone when I get to chat, to like talk at everyone. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good day tomorrow, trick or treating. Hopefully, mostly treats and not tricks. Drinking on the weekday. Hey, yeah, why not? It's a holiday. Aren't you supposed to drink
is
on
a
holidays
holiday.
and holiday eves? But yeah, let's see. Yeah, hopefully everyone has a good time. If you're wearing a costume, take pictures. Tell all the kiddos. Tell Allie and Elias and Gracie happy Halloween. We love them. And we'll see you guys soon.
Happy Halloweenies.
And cheers. Here's one last virtual drink. Let me see if I can get it into frame. All right. I'll tell Clowny. Diana, do you have anything to say?
Happy Halloween.
All right, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye. Happy Halloween. I'm trying to think. Do I have a gloomy? I don't have a gloomy song. We're horroring. Yes, we're horroring. We'll horror all day. We'll horror all night. Sometimes we even talk alike. Wait, that's Patty Duke. Okay. Bye. Good night. Bloop.
It sounded like corn.
Horn. Yeah.